Hey guys, I'm Amber and my co-host here is Kelly, and welcome back to another episode of the Brown Girls Guide podcast.
Hi guys, yes, welcome back to episode 2 of season 4. You are just not stuck with us for this episode because we have no guest today, but it's quite a fun episode. Well, it's quite an interesting episode or insightful episode because we are going to chat about lessons we've learned as a result of the pandemic. But before we get into that, Amber, I want to ask you what you're drinking, but I'm going to assume it's not booze, considering that it's 9:15 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 9:15 on the Lord's Day, so it's not the best time. Unless you're having Holy Communion, now it's not the best time to have alcohol. I actually just had a cup of coffee, but now I'm having a bottle of water because I ate, when you eat like crap the previous day and then the next day you chug like 3 liters of water just to like balance it. So that's me today. I'm #health goals today with my water. What are you having?
I am just having coffee. I've just finished my protein smoothie thing. That's what I had. And a cup of coffee. Good. Because who doesn't love that? So let's discuss these last 2 years, Amber. Let's discuss it.
Where do we begin? Like, I think we can do lessons like personally and like work-wise, but I don't know where you want to like start. Where do you want to jump in?
Let's start with work lessons because I feel like that leads into like personal lessons.
I feel you. Okay. Do you want to go first or should I go?
You can go first. So Amber, what is one of the lessons that you've learned these last 2 years?
I learned this one pretty late. Like I learned it only towards the end of last year. But I saw this TikTok that just made me put everything into perspective regarding our line of work. Because obviously it doesn't apply to everybody, but our line of work. And it's just very funny TikTok I saw that says, for people in marketing, that says, this is PR, not the ER. And I don't know why that says
that just made me stop and think. I get that though. I get that.
It's PR, not the ER. And I started to thought to myself, holy shit, like I've been like losing my mind over like rushing or like trying to get to this level of perfection in my job every single day, panicking about stuff. I mean, when you put it into perspective, like, yes, my job is important. I like what I do, but it's 99.9% of the time, it's not life or death. If I don't finish something by 5 o'clock today, nobody is going to die because of an unfinished press release. Like the world will still keep going. It's not the ER. It's going to be fine. So I've tried to just adapt the way I think and do my best during my day and don't let it affect me after hours. Like my work life doesn't have to be my whole life. And I know people have said this like for ages, but I've never really understood it until the pandemic. Like there's so much more to your life than just your job. But I think because like I grew up, or we both did, but I really follow that like #girl boss vibe from where like you have to be super independent, always be ambitious, like always, try and exceed what you've done the day before. And you don't always have to do that. Like you can do your best and sometimes your best isn't at 100%, and that's fine. That's totally fine. That's one lesson.
That makes so much sense. I actually had a manager who used to say, like, if we made a mistake or if we were stressed or if we if something was not happening according to plan, she would like ask us, but like, did someone die? Like, is someone gonna die? She was a great manager and she'd always ask us that, and it would like calm us down. Okay, like no one's actually gonna die as a result of me being an hour late on whatever, or no one's gonna die because I accidentally like put a typo in the tweet, So I had a manager like that. For me on the work front, it's been such an interesting time. Yeah, I know. I just like, it's like, which one do I pick? But I'm gonna pick the most obvious one in that like most of us can do our jobs remotely. And I think that I think we knew that, but it's a lesson that like our managers needed to learn, or managers in general needed to learn, that we can do our jobs remotely. And as a result of that, we can get so much work-life balance. Because I mean, how much would we complain about traffic all the time?
Sure. We'd spend all the time.
An hour to an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening getting home. And then you get home and you're so tired and exhausted that you don't really want to do anything. Like you don't want to go out to dinner after you've just like spent an hour and a half in traffic. So having or realizing that you can actually do your job and then like shut down at 5 o'clock because like we said, no one's going to die if you don't work overtime,
Yeah.
has been like such a revelation in my life, which is such a change because I can shut down at 5 and we can do stuff as a family, or we can go on date night, or I can actually watch a movie after work. I never used to do
It
that.
actually like improves your quality of life. Like you get so much of your life back
Yeah,
working from
exactly.
home and not spending 3 hours on the N1,
100%. It's that. So I think it's that. I think what I've learned is that this is actually how I want to work for the rest of my life. I don't ever want to
Yeah.
do a job again where I have to work in the office, because if like that is the option, then that job is not for me. So
And yeah.
should we ever switch back in our office? I mean, we're gonna have discussions.
It's gonna be some chats.
It's gonna be some chats.
That actually makes me think of like another lesson I've learned regarding work. And I know a lot of managers, not just our managers, but like in general, are gonna like panic a little on the inside when they hear this. But your job doesn't have to take up 8 hours of your day. Like I realized this working remotely, especially during like, when we were like level 5, like you can only go to Checkers before 5 p.m. level 5, like in the hectic stage. I used to still wake up really early in the morning because I was used to getting up at like 5 to drive to work. So because I was just so in that routine, I would still get up at 5. And I'd find myself like motoring through my work to-do list and being done by 9:30 in the morning with most of my work. And then chilling for a bit and then working again a bit later. And not in a traditional, like you will work from 8:30 to 12. You will eat from 12 to 12:30. Then you will work straight till 5 o'clock. Like most people, like your productivity levels don't work that way. Like you can work in like 2 hour bursts or 3 hour, even 1 hour, and get so much more done. So I've learned that, you don't have to sit at the desk for 8 hours. You can get things done in shorter periods of time.
That's very true. And for your sake and my sake, I hope our bosses don't listen to this. Because then they'll be like, oh, so you actually have gaps in your day when you can do more work. But I completely get that. I also find that like I can work for like an hour at a time and then I need like a break, but I get so much done in that hour that I do find that I've got more like time in my work day to just think about other stuff, maybe think about creative ideas or do like, the mindless work, also like admin and all those things. But you're 100% correct. I think the 8-hour workday is just, I think we've realized like during the pandemic that it's a bit old school and it's
a bit redundant. And I mean, some days you'll obviously work more than others, but not every single day is going to be you sitting for 8 hours churning out work. It's just not realistic.
Can I just switch to like a life thing quickly that I've learned?
Yeah, please.
So I remember it now when you spoke about the level 5, and I don't know what the exact lesson is here, but I've learned that, I really enjoyed being under something like level 5.
Minus the people getting sick, eh? Minus the people.
Obviously. Not, I didn't enjoy the high infection rate during that time or anything like that, but I enjoyed being under level 5 and level 4 when restaurants were stricter and shops were stricter and just like the public spaces were more restricted. And so like you'd go out and places would be empty and everyone would be like super careful and no one's inviting you to anything because you can't go anywhere. So as much as I like, obviously, like socializing every now and then, I find that when we aren't like under like a strict level, we are way too busy and we out all the time. But when we were in a stricter level, I could be like, no, sorry, I'm not comfortable. It's level 4, it's level 5, whatever. But I don't know what the lesson is from that. Like maybe the lesson is that I
the
have
lesson
not
is
learned to say no.
Can I mansplain this lesson to you?
Yes, please do. Please do.
I think it might be the
I
reason.
love a bit of mansplaining.
The reason why I think this is a lesson is because it applies to me fully. I think that the pandemic set the boundaries that we just get to set for ourselves. I think that's what it is.
How profound. I actually like gasped right now.
I honestly truly think that's what it is.
That is so true.
Because I agree with you 100%. And the level 5 and level 4, I obviously minus people getting sick and people losing loved ones. I loved being told to stay the fuck at home. I was like, sorry guys, can't come to that try, level 5.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having that excuse because I am most of the time too chicken shit to tell my friends, listen guys, I'm actually just a bit drained at the moment. I'll see you another time.
Yeah.
Because to most people, they'll be like, oh, but just come, like it's fine. Like you can just relax with us. Like, no, I want to recharge by myself. But I don't know how to say that without, because my people pleasing tendencies don't like let me do that.
That is so true. And I mean, it's no secret that I'm very much a people pleaser. So I tend to want to say yes to everything and everyone. Oh my gosh, that is actually, that is definitely the lesson. I still don't set the boundaries for myself. So I need like Cyril to be like, okay, guys, it's a bit out of hand. You guys need to like stay home for a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you.
But obviously not in a way that it affects my husband's work, because he needs to be out and about for work. So not in a way that it affects his work, but in a way where we don't have to go to social gatherings.
And I think just to also stay on the life thing, one thing I've also learned is how does it without sounding like not mean, but like I've learned that it's really time for like you to become more selfish. I'm not just talking about myself, but I mean everybody. Just be more selfish. And okay, this is both work and life now. But at the end of the day, like you are the person responsible for how happy you're going to feel. So this like looks into people pleasing as well, which we both are guilty of. Like when it's in your job, like you keep saying yes to like more things. People are going to just keep giving you more things because they know like you're not going to say no. So, and also like that try you didn't want to go to because you just don't feel like it. You're tired, you're drained. You have to start saying no if you want to, like if you want to be happy. Because at the end of the day, once you go home and you like with your partner or you by yourself, whatever the case is, you're the one that has to then recharge yourself emotionally. You're going to be exhausted the next day. Not the other people, they've gotten the social interaction or that project that they wanted from you. You're going to have to build yourself up. No one's going to be there with you to do that. So that's a tough lesson I had to learn as well, is that, yes, I'll go out with my friends, yes, I'll do whatever, but you have to like honor yourself and the fact that you're going to be alone with yourself once you're exhausted. You know what I mean?
You're right.
That's a big one I had to learn as well.
I think just following on that, I also learned the importance of self-care. And I know we've always sort of known that self-care is important. Beforehand, I didn't feel like I needed to do any like self-care or mental health work because I always thought, no, I got this. And then the pandemic hit and everyone realized, no, they actually don't have this. So, and you actually needed to make a little bit more time for yourself just because there was like a lot of external forces that were also now creeping into your life. So you were worried about the pandemic, you worried about your family and your friends, you worried about your job. There were a lot of job losses. There was a lot of uncertainty around that. So I think I also just learned that you gotta just take a little time to reset your batteries and reset yourself. And whatever way that is for you, if it's laying on the couch and watching a movie and eating a big bag of Whispers, then by all means.
When last did I have Whispers? Oh my God.
So I think I learned that I think the pandemic really drove home the importance of self-care. It also highlighted that a lot of people have always just been teetering on the edge of like I think mental instability is a very strong phrase. But they were just like teetering on the edge of having this shit together and not. And all of a sudden you throw in a pandemic and it just pushed everyone over the edge, or a lot of people over the edge. And I think
Definitely.
I think it's also made me realize that I just need to be more aware that other people are also like going through the most. We just don't know. We just don't like see it as much.
Exactly, because like you said earlier on, like we were just so busy, our days were so full. You don't take note of what's really going around you. You're so focused on, oh, I need to get up and leave before 4:45 so that I don't get too much traffic, get to work, and then you have to work that full day because you're in the office. Then you drive home. Once you get home, it's talking to your kids or your partner, whatever. Then it's cleaning and it's cooking. And by the time it's like 8 o'clock, you're exhausted. Then you need to get
Yeah.
into bed early enough because the next day it's the same thing and the same thing. So you
Yeah.
lose sight of everything else around you because you're so focused on staying in that like routine that you haven't set for yourself, but like you have to abide by.
Mm.
That it's hard to actually take a second and like look at what's happening around you and checking in properly with like the people in your life. Because I spoke to my friends every single day before the pandemic, but during the pandemic is when I feel like I really like spoke properly with the people in my life, not
Mm.
just my friends, but like my family members as well. Like finding out how everyone really is doing and not just setting up dates for the next birthday or the social event or whatever, but really just talking to the people in your life, you know?
Yeah. And I think also, I think we learned a lot about like our loved ones just during this time because, as you said, at like you see each other at all these social gatherings and you're all jolly and you're all having a drink and you're all feeling festive and you're all feeling whatever. But then you don't know what's going on underneath. So in this pandemic period, when you really like got to chat to your loved ones, you realize that actually they've been like struggling financially, and it's like this isn't something that's going to come up at a braai organically.
Yeah, exactly.
So you wouldn't necessarily have found this out at the pandemic not hit because you weren't gonna be like over like a beer, be like, oh, actually I'm really like struggling with my finances and I can't make my bond payment. So these
Yeah.
are the things that we only learned when we were in the thick of things. And I think everyone was just feeling very, very emotionally fragile. So we
Yeah, for
also
sure.
we were opening up a lot more. I think I opened up a lot more as well. I don't easily like share my emotions, so for me to have opened up would have been a big deal. And I think I did a lot of that. I think it also just because it encouraged other people to also share,
Mm.
so they tend to share more if you are also open and honest about how you're feeling and what you're going through.
100%. I fully agree. Like I also don't like I feel like I talk so much more now. Like I've always spoken about I know this, but I mean I talk so much more freely about how I'm actually feeling than
Yeah.
what I did pre-pandemic. I don't think if it wasn't for okay, not if it wasn't for COVID, that sounds terrible. But if this didn't happen, I don't know that I would have been as like vulnerable with the people I know.
Hmm.
So I guess that's one good thing, I guess, that came from it is that people really weren't scared to say how they actually are feeling anymore.
Yeah. And I think also a great thing that has come out. I mean, we have to take the good things. Don't get me wrong, this was a shitty time, but I think one of the really good things that have come out is, and this is going back to the work thing now, is the shift in how we work. Um,
Mm,
businesses have been forced to relook at how people work, where people work, when people work, and just how much they've just like how much they ask of their employees. Because I
mm,
think a lot of employees also drew a line in this time. They were like, no, I've had enough. I can't. I am dealing with a lot at home. And also, I can't like do this and look after my kids and homeschool and all of this. So I feel like there's been a big shift in the corporate culture in this time, which
mm.
is good because corporate culture has been shit and it's been toxic and it's been demanding on let's just go with it. It's been very demanding on women and mothers especially.
Oh, 100%. Very,
Mm.
very freaking demanding. But I also feel like during the pandemic, like a lot of people got to see how parents, but especially mothers at work, how much they had to juggle because once they started working from home, mothers still had to mother during the day with their kids
Yeah.
and then attend all these meetings and keep up the house. And,
Yeah.
men will maybe change the toilet paper once a month, but women still do the bulk of everything. And, kids, for the most part, will yes, see, English, will, will seek out their mother because in most cases, mothers are the primary caregivers. So while you're trying to do your 9 to 5, keeping it together during a pandemic, you also need to be a mother during hours that you were used to sending your child to school.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
I think I don't know if it's a lesson as much as it is like a spotlight. So a spotlight was really like shone on. Is that the right word? We really,
I think so, yeah.
is it shone or shined? Shone. Anyway,
Shine.
we really put the spotlight on the mental and just little workload that mothers have. And I know, and I always feel bad like talking about this because I know that in many instances, I am an exception to the rule because with Calvin, like he did a lot of the homeschooling. I worked upstairs when we were in the other house. I worked upstairs and he was downstairs with the kids. But I saw it in my sister. I saw the articles come up about it. And you just see it in like everyday life, like the amount of mental gymnastics that mothers needed to do in this time. A lot of mothers actually had a lot of burnout in this period because it was. You also have to feed the children more now that you're at home.
Yes.
And you have to sit with them in their homeschool work while you're also doing your own work. And if your kids are under the age of, let's say, 7, you can't really leave them on their own to play or watch a movie or something. You actually have to just keep your eye on them all the time. And I think school and work for many parents was like a break where they could just be themselves. Or not that they aren't themselves when they're with the kids, but they could just be them and not like Amber the mother or like Amber the wife. They could just be like Amber the career woman who is like marketing manager or whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. Shame. It's been a lot.
It's been a lot. It's been a weird time, but I have enjoyed the time at home. I do enjoy the hybrid office situation that we're in now.
Yeah, I also feel like now you're in this very awkward, I don't want to say post-pandemic because we're not post the COVID situation yet. Yeah, and now that we're moving towards like a more like back to the normal way of living, there's now this awkward shift to like how much do we go back to pre-pandemic? And I feel like a lot of companies are like dealing with that now. And like me as a person, like in my social life, I'm also like, okay, so do I fully go back to like every weekend is chock-a-block, or how do I find that balance? And also people going back to the office full time now, like, is it something we need to do? Like, do we have to work in the office 5 times a week? Like, is it necessary? We've proven for 2 years that, it's draining on people to go in and out every single day. Why don't we keep this model of, like some remote work, some in-office work? So I hope to see that, we come out of this like with some sort of balance and not just being like the last 2 years, oh, great, tick, that's done. Let's go back to the way things were, because it wasn't sustainable.
It wasn't. And it worries me because, well, I'm concerned that we haven't really learned any lessons in this pandemic, well, as a business culture, because I see the traffic on the N1. I sit in the traffic 2 days a week on the N1, and it feels as bad, if not worse, than before the pandemic, which makes me think that the businesses are definitely forcing the employees to go back to the office full time, and they are just not actually using the lessons that they've learned in this time, or not implementing it in a way that is sustainable or that is actually beneficial to the world. Because if we all just work from home only like 2 days, work from the office only 2 days a week, there'd be less traffic, less impact on the environment, less mental health impact.
You save money, employees save money.
I honestly don't think I can afford to go back to the office full time because all that money that you save, like from not having to fuel your car as much was just absorbed into the ever
And petrol costs way more than it did pre-pandemic. It's like almost 21 rand per a liter. Like, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And not only that, like we are spending more on food because the cost of food has gone up and the cost of electricity. Oh my, I mean, I know I sound like a real old person now, but oh my gosh.
No, it's reality. And our salaries are say the same. So it's not like we are, well, for like us specifically, I don't know about corporate or where they have those structures for each year. Like, but for a lot of people, your salary has stayed the same, but you have to adjust to higher standards of living. So, I think,
Yeah, so I don't think I can afford to go in 5 days a week.
Yeah, it's just
No.
What a somber note to end on. But I mean, it's honestly a conversation I think we need to have now is, are we applying the lessons we learned during the pandemic? Like, if you felt socially burnt out after every weekend, every Sunday night, you're exhausted, do you have to go to everything you're invited to? Do you have to go to every single brunch or every cocktail night or drinks night or happy hour? If you can't do it, try and say no. I'm speaking to myself.
Yes, I'm listening. I am listening. I will try to say no.
No, I mean, like, I'm telling myself this as much as I'm sharing it with you. Like, even if you say no to just one thing or go to one lesson, at least there's progress. It's something you're doing for yourself. That is also self-care.
That's true. That is true. And on that note, we will end it off here for the day. But if anyone else has any other lessons they wish to share with us, please do.
So yeah, we'll leave it here today with like our little lessons that we learned and hopefully we'll be implementing going forward. And if there's any other lessons you want to share, anything you want to tell us we should be trying to not be such people pleasers, please share it on our socials. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Brown Girls Guide Pod and on Twitter at BGG Pod. And if there's something more personal you want to share that you don't feel to the comment section, you can also email us on info@browngirlsguide.co.za.
Exactly. And I just want to add something that we've never added before at the end of the episode. Please leave us a review on wherever you listen to the podcast. Just leave us a review. Like, it would be nice to just have feedback and thoughts and all those things. So if you listen or wherever you listen, please just drop us a review and we'd appreciate that.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'll see you in our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.